Hello, I'm so sorry I'm late. Time ran away with me. That's not unusual. We're on Meredith today, as you can probably see. I'm just going to prop up this side. I'm propping my camera up. I'm hoping Kate will come in and join me. Rick is on here as well. Carleen has sent instructions to Janine to go and pick up a Chinese meal from her favourite Chinese restaurant and take it into her. So I'm sure that they're going to be sharing a meal together. Because I'm on here, I have no mail with me and no packages. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep any mail that specifically is addressed to Carleen for her. And Janine takes it into her. So to answer people's questions, anything that's got Carleen's name on it and it isn't a bill or an invoice or anything like that, we send it into Hawthorne Hill so that Carleen has it. I couldn't personally tell you whether or not she's holding on to open it all at the same time on camera, but we're getting there. I'm only in charge of ordering the 1/2-inch marbles, okay? That's my role and I know it and I'm happy with it. So that's good. So she and Janine will be having dinner tonight, which will be lovely. And people have asked me for updates regarding Carleen, and I can only tell you what I hear from Carleen, okay? So it's not coming straight from her, but I'm sure we'll get a mail chat from there. She's doing well. I mean, I think there's obviously a degree of frustration. Here comes Kate. Excellent. And there's obviously a degree of frustration with still being in, what's it called? Rehab? Yeah, rehab. And that, you know, we're coming up, it's, what is it? The 30th today? Mm-hmm. So we're getting closer to the end of the year. We're Janine today with Mardy and Judy, they've been emptying out the cabin. A lot of the cabin's contents were put into the horse trailer, and my understanding is that the contents of the cabin, I think she's going to put into what is technically going to be known as Carleen's playroom, which is kennel 9 and 10. So that's where the contents of that she's been. Would you mind going on to the questions so we can follow the questions? Because yeah. Quite frankly, I can't multitask. Okay. Or task even. So the trailer that is outside the house at the moment, the cabin at the moment, it has the things that will be used for. I think what we're expecting her to use 9 and 10 for will be like making her monkey fists and anything else that she requires lots and lots of rope and glue guns for. That'll sort her. That'll keep her moving, I can tell you, because she's very industrious. She's running out of marbles, which she says is not a good idea when she's in rehab in case they want to keep her. She said, but she's got more marbles coming tomorrow, so that's good. And yes, she's obviously feeling the need for her Chinese meal, which is also a good sign. So she's getting there. We just need to get ourselves up and running and safe entry and safe exit. Mm-hmm. I think so that's it. So that's good. And with regard to what are we doing on here, we're chasing around after horses, aren't we, really?
Yes, people coming and checking out animals to maybe adopt them, and 2 potential going in the next couple of weeks.
Yes,
which is exciting.
Which is always exciting. Yeah. And it's actually a longer process than you think. People don't turn up and go, I fancy that animal. We go, they're jolly nice.
It's a personal decision because it's taking on to something for probably their whole life.
Yes,
if not your own.
We hope.
Yeah.
So we have a few animals here that we're considering going up for adoption. And the funny thing is, I think we've been discussing this. We're getting a bit too organic in this, aren't we? Yeah. It's kind of like if something comes along, we go, that might work. We're very laid back about that until somebody says, do you happen to have? And we're like, actually, we probably do, now that you mention it. And that's actually quite a good thing, because what we do is very much to the benefit of the equine. And they spend time here, they work through our programme, they either go over to Goldy's and they work with Leslie and Julie and Brittany, or they stay here and then we think, actually, we've had them for 1.5 years and they're more than ready to go to a home. And And Phyllis up at Hidden Pond, she says, I've got somebody looking for her. I'm like, I think we've got one of those. Oh, and so it's actually really lovely because it happens quite naturally, and it tends to be not we're chasing homes. It seems to be we're matching, and I think that's the really important part, because our animals become very special to us and quite quirky, and you want the best for them. So it's nice that homes are presenting themselves, and you can look at relationships and how they will develop going forward. So I think we've been exceptionally lucky.
I think it's funny that the two people that are potentially adopting actually came here to see a different animal.
Yes.
And ended up with the one that they might be adopting. So
yeah, it's quite funny, because you don't really know until you see people and how they interact with animals, or how you come along to see how you feel. It's a very personal thing. It's a very it's a very unexpected.
It's just like people. Some get along, some don't.
Yeah. And then you've got the murder mule, at which point we'll not even go any further with that, because quite frankly, goodness knows what he's up to.
Apparently Betty ordered chicken parm for tomorrow evening.
Oh, thank you very much. That's
very nice.
Lovely.
Someone wants to know if both doors in the barn were closed today. If not, why didn't they go out the other door?
Because they don't like the other door, and I'll tell you now why they don't like the other door. The other door is really muddy, the entrance, and it is squelchy, and they go, ooh, my feet, which I don't blame them. And the reason I knew the other door was open was because Julie had managed to take it off its hinges to muck out and put into the muck pile, and she said, you know what, I think I forgot to put that back up. And that's fine, because it's actually not a problem with the animals going in and out of there. It's just they haven't really been using it. So we reattach it by the hinges and put it back up, and then they go, thank goodness I don't have to swim through the mud, which is a good thing. So I think they probably were all deciding that they weren't going to attempt the other door, because quite frankly it was a swamp.
It's crazy how quickly the mud builds up there.
Oh, it's awful.
It was just last year Janine spent a bunch of money to put in stone dust, so for a month or so it was nice and dry and firm and fast footing, and it was
not
great,
now.
but it's on a hill. It's at the bottom of the hill.
So you get
it's a matter of time.
So you get all the slurry that comes off the hill.
Yes.
It's like a river silting
and the
up.
poop that rolls down.
Yes. That's only when it's dry.
Yes. The surgery. When is Carlene's surgery, and how long will she be in hospital for?
So her surgery is in the 2nd, and this is for a kidney stone. So it's just a small incision, so it's actually got a very quick recovery time. But obviously there's lots of complications with Carlene, because she has her scoliosis, she has polio, she has all sorts of other issues, and blood clotting, which we're always very keen to keep an eye on. So from that point of view, she will be kept under observation, not in the hospital, but she will be under observation by the medical team at Hawthorne Hill. And that allows us the peace of mind not to be looking at something and thinking, ooh, does that look a bit red and angry to you? So we don't know definitely, because with anything medical, it's always how long's the piece of string. But we will obviously make sure that she's hale and hearty before she returns home.
Helen is saying how nice it was to see Julie give the animals a hug and a kiss today in all the stalls. Apparently she went around and gave them all a little cuddle.
I would like
cute to see.
I would like to think so. Hello, my love. Are you coming and sit here?
No.
Have you got a question?
Yeah. Can I just dump that with the other muck down at the muck heap, or
It's
somewhere
way
different?
down at the compost heap.
Yeah.
We can go in with the other stuff. Yeah.
Anything down there is good.
Yeah.
And could you maybe give your 3 horses in there like a little training lesson on mucking out? Like get out of the stall.
No.
They're brand new.
They're brand new, and they like to see everything that's going on.
You tried mucking out that with 3
Yes, I
horses
have.
in it.
Yes, I have.
It's not a lot of fun.
I left. You can take a bale of hay down if you want, and also I left.
Oh, I'd love to. Yes.
Oh, I knew that. Listen,
if you want.
if you want.
Okay.
And I left.
If you insist.
Some people are so difficult. And I left you their feet, and it goes in the trough outside if you want to squelch through that.
You left me the feet.
Yeah, I did. Because I've got to go and do that across the road. so I can't touch.
Yeah, cross-contamination.
And I don't know why you're in here with those boots on.
Get out of the closet, I tell you. It's going to be, I'm going to have to do about 3 trips down there.
I know that.
Yeah.
I did that the other day.
Yeah. It's a lot of muck.
I know, they poop all the time.
Yeah, and they poop while you're cleaning as well.
Oh, yes, they do that too.
Yeah, they like to refresh. Oh, better get into production
They're
again.
considerate.
Yeah.
Honestly, some people are never happy.
The same muck heap. It's okay.
Yes, it is, darling.
Fernanda says that there are some people driving a little fast and a little close to dogs up and down the driveway.
Oh, they're going too fast.
Yeah. Said someone got close to Larky and it was scary to watch.
Yeah, you know what? It's just going to be another day or so.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's anything to do with somebody from Goldy's farm, you know, we'll tackle that head on. It's just a bit difficult. And you know, they're under a lot of pressure down there to get out. It's a big, you know, it's a big undertaking, and you always think that you're further ahead than you actually
Moving
turn
is
out to
stressful
be.
under the best of situations.
Yeah. So this is
Not to make excuses, but
no, but it is tricky, and we have watched it for a period of time. The problem is, as soon as we put out the roadblock across the driveway, it freezes, and then when Dana comes in to do the driveway, it doesn't work.
Can't play.
And then we've got a lovely big build up of stuff that we can't move, and then we can't get down the driveway. So we're in a bit of a catch-22 situation here at the moment. But let's just get tomorrow out of the way. I think we just need to be aware and vigilant of the fact that, you know, there's a lot of people coming down. There's also people, I presume, going up and down there who maybe haven't been to the farm before.
Yeah.
So, you know, to everybody else, I think sometimes people think it's a 30-mile-an-hour limit until they meet something coming up the way. So it's a problem, but we'll get
It's
there.
always something good to mention, Fernanda, because then we can, you know,
We can
keep
watch
an eye
the
out.
dogs.
Yeah. Tiggy wants to know if Carlene is ever going to get her trailer back.
No. No.
We have the small trailer, but
We have
not
the small
big
trailer, but not the hay trailer.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
So that's just the way, and that's the way it fell, and there's no more discussion to be had about it. So it will enjoy its life in Maine, and we will just continue with the trailer that we've got, and we'll be happy with our lot.
Yes. Jane wants to know about property limitations once the lease is up, but
Property limitations.
for visitation for that organization.
If there was anything left, well, you know, I think, you know, life is never straightforward or cut and dried, and you know, if there was a problem, I'm sure that if there was an appointment made, it would be facilitated. You know, nobody's trying to be difficult or obstructive, but you know, I think that we all need to be sitting down and drawing a breath and getting our feet back underneath ourselves and able to move forward. I certainly know that if there was stuff that they needed that is deemed to be part of service dog, that's absolutely fantastic, and they can come along and they can make an appointment and come pick it up. You know, this has just been really realistic about it.
I'm laughing because Fugan sent a follow-up text that she has sent us some handcrafted white sage sticks, so you can
Do we smoke them?
So you light them and then you cleanse everything, and then fresh start, and Fugan is very creative and very nice. I like it.
Thank you, Fugan. That's exceptionally kind of you.
I hope it's a big bundle, personally.
Maybe we should just have a pyre. cut our losses and go.
I like it.
Yeah, and you know, they're making great strides into moving, and it's a tremendous undertaking for the number of people they have. It's very labour intensive, and it's like moving house when you've got, you know, toddlers, because they've had dogs that they've had to contain and maintain on the site. So, you know, with the best will in the world, you can't take down your fencing too early. You can't take down your dog runs too early, because otherwise everything's commingling, and then you've got a problem. And I will tell you, Janine and I went out with Penny and Larky this morning, and where were they? They were right in the middle of the flat field. Then they were up what would have been Puppy Hill, they were all over the place because the fencing is down.
Oh, is it really? Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
So from that point of view, you can see where they would have had a problem. We would have had lots of commingling with dogs and donkeys and goats and all of our other terrors that we've got on there. Like goats. Did I mention goats?
The goats would be excellent speed monitors for the driveway.
Yeah. And they just stand.
Because if a car came too fast, I think they could like jump up on the car.
Yeah, yeah. Either that, they just turn and stare at you and go. You're like, really, goats?
The goats.
Goats schmotes.
We'll be taking pictures of the laundry building when we can enter it again. Jane would like to know.
Yes, and and this is best practice. So. Everybody, the service dog will take pictures of how they leave, and I think that probably somebody was mentioning a flash going off in a camera. It wasn't us, so I presume that as service dog clear an area, what they'll do is they'll photograph it, and that's good because you've got a point of reference, and it's also important. It protects service dogs' rights and it protects our rights. So we will photograph as we go in, or video, whatever, and we'll take it from there. But it is important because then there's no dubiety over what's happened.
Mm-hmm. And it's kind of nice to have before and after pictures too for whatever we're going to repurpose things as.
Yes. And who's Charlotte's going to paint us a mural.
Oh, that's great.
Which will be really lovely.
Is it going to be like on a building or like?
Well, do you remember the laundry building, the turquoise building? You remember those dogs that were up on it? So they've taken that down. Mm-hmm. So it leaves us with space to get our own plywood, and then Charlotte, who's a phenomenal artist, she will do that. So that'll be really nice.
Can we do one of like a caricature of like Carlene speeding around on a go-kart and like dogs hanging out?
No, because that will just encourage her to speed in her go-kart. And can I tell you, it is not a go-kart, it's a golf cart, and quite frankly, she drives it like a go-kart. And also, I've never been so terrified in my life, and I keep saying to her, I don't have straps on this thing, and she says, just hold on to the frame.
Especially with the hills. It's like
yes, but there's no camber on the roads. Have you ever been up the steep hill up to my house, and it goes like that and lurches to the side?
No.
And then she says, I don't know if it makes this hill. And I'm like, oh, and you actually feel that it's going to go whoop, over the back. Okay, you must experience that.
Which just means we need to get her one with more power.
I actually think what we need is one lower to the ground because there's less topple.
We'll get her a four-wheeler.
Yeah, but we very handily run the Carlene's golf cart out of motion. It is sitting on the hill out of the parking pit. Oh, excuse me a sec.
Only have 10% left.
Yeah, we'll be fine. It's sitting in the hill to come out of the parking pit where it ran out of motion, and it's been there for about a week because we're going to have to tow it out and plug it in before she gets back. Otherwise, we'll be in trouble bigly.
Helen wants to know about the single Pringle goat.
Yes.
Has a big mini pony. It looks like a big mini pony. Is that typical that it's that size?
They're all that size. These are not small goats. I have no idea what kind of goats they are. They're big goats. They do not bend in the middle because when they're trying to squeeze out of the gate and you're trying to close it and you try and squeeze them to turn them round, they don't bend in the middle at all, those goats, do they? They're super strong, super tall and super naughty. And Single Pringle, that's a goat that actually used to be very attached to Harley. But I think you'll notice he kind of like hangs out with the mini horses as well. He likes Wilbur. He's a really funny goat, and he's the one that when he's part of the herd of 5, he doesn't bother with the rest of the goats. In fact, he's kind of like a bit of an outcast. So he's our Single Pringle, who's far happier in that mixed herd.
Joe is mentioning President Carter's passing, and if we're aware of that.
I got that text, and I've never operated the flagpole, and I'm not sure what Carlene does. I do know that there is some sort of restrainer on that flag to keep it flying, because otherwise I think they naturally inch their way down. So Carlene made a device to keep the flag up, and it's on the base of the flag, and I do remember her telling me something about it's a sort of like it's like a horseshoe shape that keeps the flag up. So I haven't actually been down, I must admit, to look at it going up and down, and I do know that since I've been on that farm that I haven't seen the flag come down to half-mast on any occasion, and I'm not sure whether or not it's because it's physically impossible.
Certainly possible.
Yeah, so we might have to put Janine up a ladder.
But he was certainly a very impressive and important and cool person. So,
and I think he seemed like a really thoroughly decent person as well.
Yes,
which is nice.
Yep, we could have put him to work on the farm.
Yeah, he would have loved it.
Yeah. Everyone's saying how much they miss Carlene whipping around the property on her golf cart.
That's because you're not on the property. And I'll tell you another.
You're not in the way.
No, and I'll tell you another thing. She took her bells off. But I found her bells in my basement. Yeah, so those bells are going back in her golf cart.
Yeah,
because sometimes it's like she's airborne behind you, and you're like, there she is. So her bells are going back on. We'll be keeping an eye on her. Oh, another thing is, I've just realised it's actually got headlights.
Really?
Yes.
Don't tell her that because she'll be out in the dark.
I was going down the driveway one day and I thought, it's really dark and somebody might hit me because I'm in this golf cart. And Nick said, why don't you put the lights on? I'm like, what lights? And then he said, there must be a bit in the dashboard. And the dashboard is covered with poo pickers. It's covered with, there's a few curlers in there from her hair.
Oh my goodness.
There's a comb, there's a fork, there's a spoon, there's half a Dunkin' Donuts. And I said, well, where do you think the light switch is? And he's like, I don't know. So we had to pull all this back. And we went, oh, there it is.
So it's like most women have a purse that they keep everything in.
This is it.
She has
the
a
dashboard of the golf cart. So we now know where the lights are. So that's fantastic. That's probably why we probably left the lights on and the battery went out.
Oh, maybe.
Oops.
So Marilyn is asking about. Don't yell at me if I say this wrong. If you're planning anything special, for, that.
No.
What is that?
Hogmanay is. It's very definitely celebrated as a holiday in Scotland, and it's we do first footing and first person through your doorway in the new year, etc. It's preferably
like a race,
no, it's preferably somebody tall, dark, and handsome, and you can take a bit of coal with you. There's all sorts of tradition around about it in Scotland. It's really big. So the first year I was here, I noticed that everybody went to bed, and I was like, oh my gosh. Everybody else had gone to bed and I was like, it's Hogmanay. No, it's not.
Oh,
and then
interesting.
In subsequent years I decided to embrace the let's go to bed because tomorrow is another day. So that's what we do.
Yes. Can Carlene see the MC?
No, because Carlene is well, I don't know unless Janine's there, and then yes you can. But Carlene, I think, is not very conversant with the laptop at the moment. We will be sorting that out soon, I can tell you.
I think that's it. Other comments about liking the Daily Doggy today and...
Oh, that Daily Doggy picture, that's Clancy having a snooze.
Clancy pants.
Silly fancy Clancy. So that was him having a wee snooze because we were talking about animals sleeping standing up and all that sort of thing, and also I think one of the things that you see if you do watch the barn camera is you'll see the horses or the donkeys or the mules and the majority of the barns lying down, not only in a sternal position on their chest, and they go to sleep, but there's always one that's kind of like standing.
Oh, yeah.
That's your alert animal, and
they do shifts.
And anything untoward, they're up there telling the whole world about it. And don't ask me about photos because you know what? I have no idea how I got that photo on there. This what's that called? Constant Contact is giving me so much upset in the morning. I phoned Carlene and I said, do you have problems with Constant Contact? She went, yes, all the time. I'm like, oh, good to know. Because I removed Elvis's photo, which I'd had up for over a week, and I tried to put in that misty photo I had of the barn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I got it as a backdrop, and then I got the picture in the middle, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to want to know how to do that. Tried it today. It's a no-go. I do actually have somebody, Brittany, poor woman, whose brains I am going to go and absolutely pick to pieces as to what I'm doing wrong with Constant Contact. And I don't know, Blogger the reason I can't upload in Blogger is because it's a previous email from before Carleen had set up it under the email that she uses now. Mm-hmm. So the trouble with that is we don't know where the recovery is for that email. Mm. So we don't know how to get into Blogger yet. We might have to revamp that. So the constant contact, I'm still having a fight with. I'm having a fight with the photographs, and I am going to sort it out. I don't know how I'm going to sort it out, but I'm going to sort it out. And then by the time Carleen comes back to doing the daily doggy, it's going to be so simple for her because she's just going to press the button and it's going to be done. Mm-hmm. And I'm not fixing it if she breaks it because I'm having enough trauma.
Peg wants to know if Carly and Mike are okay. She hasn't seen them lately.
Carly and Mike are up in... Mike you'll see walking up and down the driveway. He gets picked up and he goes to work every day. I'm not very sure what Carly's up to, but they're still in the apartment at the moment. Mm-hmm. Presumably, I would presume maybe Carly's got a job off farm. Mm-hmm. That's all I know, without going up and demanding to know what they're up to. But we just see Mike, and we pass comment on the driveway nearly on a daily basis. So, yeah,
there we go. Brenda's asking how she watches the barn camera. I wonder if someone could...
Or somebody else is
someone could tag a link for her under that comment so she can just click on it.
Yeah, because I can't.
Yeah. Roger, New Year's Eve, quarter dime nickel on outside the window still brings you money in the new year.
Ooh.
And New Year's after 12 a.m., the man through the front door brings you good luck.
Yeah, that's it. It has to be tall, dark and handsome.
So do you schedule a person?
Well, actually, in years gone by, yes, we have scheduled a person. It's like, not you, not you. You, if you just go out the back door and in the front door, not a problem.
That's hilarious. Joe says a link to the barnyard cameras can be found on the Goldy's Farm webpage.
Good to know.
Oh my goodness.
See, did you press a button there?
No, everything. There's just a lot at once now. Will you be renaming the laundry building?
You know what? I have absolutely no idea, but that will be up to Carleen, and I'm sure Carleen will, put it out to tender, whatever she chooses to do. I think the essence of it is that it's no longer the laundry building because she's going to be living there, and then there's the apartment upstairs as well. So everything's changed.
Yeah.
The ICU building's changed. The barn use has changed. The paddock. Mm-hmm. Have changed, let's face it, even last year the Donkey Cafe changed. It's now in the tea tent, and I still get mixed up between the tea tent and the G tent, but hey. Yes, I think sometimes a change is as good as a rest, and it might be that it's appropriate for moving forward, but there's no hiding the past. It's not a case of we don't want to be remembered. Carleen started Service Dog however many years ago. The cameras arrived in 2012, and there's no shying away from it. We're not ashamed of it, we're not upset about it, and it's part of Carleen's history on her farm. So that's it. It's not a case of we would ever turn around and say, oh my gosh, we've got these memorial areas on the farm, but they're not part of us. It stays there. It's neither here nor there, and we would be respectful of that.
Yeah, it's about the animals. It's not about people and whatever their
grapes.
Their issues are. Fernanda, how about Carleen's house?
Which house? The cabin or the laundry? The laundry we're moving on pretty much ASAP. Janine's packed up the house already. And has got that started, and then it's just a case of getting her situated in there once she's fit and healthy to come home.
So they have to do carpenter work and stuff in there first? Okay.
We've got bits and pieces, so
that'll be so nice for her to just be able to walk in and out.
Yeah.
And drive right up to the door.
It's going to be a totally and utterly different environment for her.
Yeah.
She can roll out of bed, roll into the car, then come back, roll out of the car, roll into bed. Whatever suits. It's going to be, I think, life changing for the stage of life that she's at the moment, and that's important.
And closer to the donkeys.
Closer to the donkeys. And personally, you and I would be like, isn't that delightful?
G tent is short for giraffe tent because it's tall enough to fit
a giraffe.
Giraffe in. I didn't know that.
Yes, that's right.
I would not have guessed that.
That's why it's got the picture hanging from it in the middle.
Oh my goodness.
See?
Carlene should be very proud of all that she's accomplished. Yes. Yes, she should. Yes, she is moving to the laundry eventually, as soon as it gets built out for her. Apparently 598 bricks have been bought.
Ooh,
that's good.
My goodness, thank you very much.
Yeah. And so far, that's it. Yeah.
Yes, and you know, this is actually quite right what this lady Dawn has said. It used to be just a camera, and there was absolutely no sound in the camera. Oh. So they did MailChat, and they opened things, and they held up a whiteboard. Thank you too. So it was. So you look at how far they've come on. You know, they've got all these cameras and different forms of communication, and it's just fantastic. So it has evolved since 2012 when the cameras first went in, and now you look at it. So that will continue with Goldies, and we'll all move on with that. So it's actually very exciting. And you know what? Somebody made a comment on the which chat was it? Must have been one of the YouTube, you know. And I think it was probably supposed to be a bit snarky, and it was saying, you know, Service Dog must be absolutely delighted to get off this place. And I'm like, yes, I think they are, because they're going to their own environment, they're going to their own new home, and that's a very exciting process. And this is also, I mean, it wasn't what we intended when we first set foot there, but Goldy's was born out of a necessity for the animals that were there, and the dogs and their outreach programs. So from that point of view, it's actually very exciting for both organisations, and it's the way forward. It's been proven unsuccessful for whatever reason for the two organisations to exist in the one spot. It certainly isn't anything to do with the fact that we needed extra space, because quite frankly, I would suggest we're probably coming down with extra space. Because you can only take in what people can actually accommodate. You need people to accommodate it to a high standard, and so extra space isn't necessarily an advantage, to be quite honest with you, when you're run by volunteers. So this is exciting for Service Dog, it's a new beginning for them, and it's very exciting for Goldies, because it's a change and it's something different. So we'll all be okay.
Joe would like to know if a date for chicken shatting has been set.
Janine is still talking about the 1st, but as soon as we work out, it depends on really what sort of position we're sitting in. It could be that things are a bit chaotic. There's a lot going on, and believe it or not, there are people coming to work in the place on the 1st. So it's I think we need to play it by ear, because I certainly don't want to rush this. This is the first chicken chatting that we'll have on the property, and would like to get it set up. So we also have to make sure if she's deconstructing the cabin, we've got to make sure that we've actually got space.
Lots of moving parts right now.
So I think that's wonderful. So lots of progress being made. Janine's making really good forward strides in the cabin. Everybody's moving, and that's great. So, and Carlena's moving. She's doing her bit. She's producing these much sought after, what are they called? Oh my gosh, monkey fists. Yes, for Betsy. And you know, she's working towards her health and coming out, so that's good. So. And the rest of us are just sort of like wandering around like little things in a trance, keeping going. There's so much work. There's so constant, really constant. But it's good to be busy. Keeps us out of trouble, and the animals are happy, and that's all that matters. I think. Yeah. So there we go. And thank you very much for joining me today.
You're welcome.
You see, you have to. No, there's no mailer packages because I'm on Meredith. I'm not on the farm. And if I take things off the farm, I'm likely to lose them. So there. So there we go. And we'll see you all tomorrow, I would presume.
I think so.
Night night.
Thank you everyone for the questions.